So where is Kane and what's next for him? What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is Jason. We're going to be talking about where's Kane? What's going on with him? Um, well, a couple weeks ago at SummerSlam, he lost his Inferno match or Ring of Fire match with Bray Wyatt, and he was hauled away by the Wyatt family. Um, and we haven't heard anything about him with the exception of one thing that Bray Wyatt he put out a tweet uh, on Twitter a few days ago saying the monster likes it here hashtag obey. So and I've heard a few people say, oh, he's gonna come back in a few months and he's gonna have a grudge match with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. That's probably the farthest thing from what is going to happen. Let's rewind a little bit. Actually, we're going to rewind a lot. Kane's gone through many different changes. Uh, mask, we know with his mask, he's been unmasked. I'm going to cover just a few of them. I'm not going to cover every, tag team he's been in, every championship he's had. I'm just going to cover a few of them just to show, the drastic things he's gone through. He debuted in '97 during the Attitude Era, which, like I've said in one of my other videos, I wasn't watching back then. I started watching, towards the end of the Attitude Era, beginning of the Aggression Era. And when he debuted, he was quite the phenom. I mean, I know the Undertaker is called the phenom, but you could call Kane that too. They're brothers, and um, he was a force to be reckoned with, and he's always been a force to be reckoned with. But there's been times in the past where he hasn't been, excuse me, quite as scary as like when he first debuted. Um, he went from the Attitude Era, debuting. He didn't say anything either. That's one of the main things that made him very intimidating. He just showed up, and banged the fire in the ring and all that stuff. Showed up with Percy Pringle, and he was scary. He scared a lot of people, especially the people he was in the ring with. And then in the Aggression Era, he became more of a fan favorite. One particular thing I'm going to touch on just briefly is when he was tagging with RVD. He was pretty popular then, and he also, changed his look a little bit. He had that. He still had like the black and red, the evil look. He got rid of, part of his mask. You could see a little bit more of him, and he also started talking a little around that time too, if I remember right. Not a lot, but he started doing some promos and you know developing his character a little bit because obviously you can only do so much when you just come out to the ring and you're not saying nothing. That's part of being a wrestler in the WWE. You've got your in-ring abilities and you've got your mic skills. Um, and during this whole thing, I forget what triggered it all, uh, but this all led to him, becoming the monster again, uh, and going against RVD led to the unmasking of Kane, which opened up a whole new bag of tricks for him. He became a whole different monster, and he had a shaved head. He didn't have the long hair anymore, and yeah, I remember when that happened. That was really freaky. Um, it was intimidating. Uh, it was just a whole new chapter in the story of Kane, and and then he had a lot of time, several years where he was unmasked, and he was a lot more evil than he was before, because he started cutting more and more promos too, and describing, why he became why he became who he was, and his past, and what drove him to become his character, and became quite the evil guy again. Then he was injured, went away for a while again, and became masked in 2011. Came back, and he was in the middle of a feud with Daniel Bryan, of all people. And it was surrounding the WWE Championship at the time, too, I believe, with CM Punk when he was champ. And they started this new, they obviously, people were like, oh, he's masked again and he's evil. But there was obviously fans were like, oh, great, he's got the mask on again. We're going old school with Kane. Yay. Whatever. It seemed to hear a lot of fans uh, commenting that it was like, oh, well, it's the same old Kane. He's back, but this time he has a mask on. It's more of a retro thing. But there wasn't anything special about it. So, in the middle of this feud with Daniel Bryan, all of a sudden with AJ Lee as was it AJ Lee? Yeah, AJ Lee was Raw GM and forced Daniel Bryan and Kane into therapy with this Dr. Shelby guy. And I remember first watching this thinking, what in the hell are they doing with Kane? They are killing him. He's supposed to be a monster. But you know what? He became one of the most popular guys again, along with Daniel Bryan, in these therapy sessions. It became the funniest stuff I've seen in the WWE in years. I mean, obviously, you think back to stuff like, okay, what was funny in the WWE? First thing that comes to my mind is, the pranking stuff with DX versus Vince and that whole thing. That was some funny stuff. This, in my opinion, topped that. I thought it was great. Some of these things between Daniel Bryan and Kane and Dr. Shelby, and watching them develop these characters in therapy and learning to hug it out. And then they became a tag team. They became Team Hell No, and they became so popular. It seemed like they had no choice but to put the tag team championships on them. And they had a very successful run with that until the Shield came along and, ripped that off of them. But they were still, teaming up and went through some other things. So now we're up to the current times now. He's still a fan favorite. He had his match with Bray Wyatt. And after SummerSlam, like I said, after their match, they took him away. They, carried him away from the ring, basically, on their shoulders, and and walked him out. And like I said, the tweet says, the monster likes it here, #obey. Now, if you think back to when, right before the Wyatts debuted, actually it was the night of the debut, I think, they did that whole thing where the reporter went to the Wyatt's house and got a kind of an inside look at the Wyatt family, and went to their home, their compound, whatever you want to call it, wherever they're from. That backwoods, big old mansion looking place. Um, and they took the cameraman inside the house, and Luke Harper told him not to stray. And then they panned to the right, and there was this room that he went inside, and there was this guy holding his head, listening to the, taping of someone saying, obey, 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 just repeating it over and over and over again. And that whole site, walking through that whole house, is like some of the most intimidating, scariest stuff that I think a lot of fans, including myself, had seen in the WWE in a long time. Um, I was really surprised by this, and I loved it. I loved every aspect of it because you really didn't know what to expect with these guys, except for what you'd seen on. If you'd watched NXT, you know the character, but most WWE fans don't watch NXT and had no clue what these guys were about. The Wyatt family and where they were from and what they were going to do. So now they took Kane away. Obviously, he's in the house where they were first interviewed and found, the night of their debut. What are we going to see from Kane when he comes back? Uh, Obviously, he's gone now, and he's going to be back. I'm guessing he's going to be back in about a half a year. So maybe Royal Rumble time, something like that. Sometime this fall, towards the end of the year. And he's gone through so many different things. You got to figure he's got to do something fresh. He's got to do something new. He's always going to be the big red monster to us fans that like him. But, if he's joining the Wyatt family, he's obviously going to be changing his look. He's not going to be Kane like we've always seen him, coming out with his mask, the black and red leather, and coming out with the Wyatt family. That would be ridiculous. That'd be like a clown act. I've got a feeling he's going to be much more like his character from the movie coming up that he's making, See No Evil Part 2. Jacob, I can't think of his name. I haven't seen the first one, but I heard it's good. So, and now actually that he's making a second one, it makes me want to go see the first one just to see what his character was like. Might give you a little hint of what he may come back like. Obviously, if they're brainwashing him and he's going to be part of the Wyatt family when he comes back, I'd have to assume he's going to be looking like them. He's going to be grungy. He's going to be doing maybe overalls, jeans, a flannel, something, some kind of backwoods old hick look. I don't think he's going to grow a beard like, some of the guys, but obviously he's going to I think he's going to do a shaved head again. Or he might grow his real hair out and have this really nasty, weird, unkept look. That's what I think. He's either going to go with the real hair, which he has been growing out. If you've seen some pictures, he has been growing it out. It's not very long, but he has been. I think he's going to go with the shaved head look again. That's my guess. And he's going to have this, rugged look, and he's going to be with them for a while, and then someone's going to rescue him and snap him out of it, whether that be Undertaker or Daniel Bryan or someone. Somewhere over the course of the next year, we'll probably see the big red monster again, and then he'll go away for good. Because obviously, he's been around for a long time, and he's not going to be around forever. He's one of the veterans. So, what do you think we're going to see from Kane in the future? When do you think he's going to come back? And what do you think he's going to look like when he comes back with the Wyatt family? I can't wait to see what happens with him. It's going to be a whole new character, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see this new transformation in Kane. And whenever he comes back, he might even change his character name, for crying out loud. Who knows? All right, what do you think, guys? Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.